Kweku Bondzie lived with his mother, Maami Efua, and his little sister, Ama, in a small house near the Cape Coast beach. Their home was old and the roof leaked whenever it rained. Maami Efua sold roasted plantains and Kweku helped her after school. They were poor, but they lived with love. One early morning before the sun rose, Kweku woke up to fetch water from the sea. The air was cool and the waves moved softly. He picked up his small plastic bowl and walked down the narrow sandy path. Fishermen were still sleeping by their boats, and the beach was quiet. Kweku liked going early because he enjoyed the sound of the water before people came out. He filled his bowl, balanced it in his hand, and started walking back home. As he passed a group of rocks, he heard voices. 3 fishermen were sitting under a palm tree. They carried big nets and were talking loudly. Kweku greeted them. "Good morning, uncles." The men nodded without looking at him. One of them said, "We caught something last night. We will be rich." Another laughed and said, "Yes, the man from the big city will pay plenty money for it. A pregnant sea spirit is not small thing." Kweku stopped walking for a moment. A pregnant sea spirit? He had heard stories about sea spirits who lived near Cape Coast Castle, but he never believed them. He felt scared and walked faster. As he walked past a small bush behind the rocks, he heard a weak cry. "Help me, please!" Kweku froze. The voice sounded like a woman. He placed his ball on the sand and listened again. "Help me!" Kweku slowly stepped forward and looked behind the thick bushes. His eyes widened. A woman was tied to an old tree. Her skin shone like water under sunlight, and her long hair was wet. Her stomach was big, like a woman ready to give birth. But what made Kweku shake was what he saw below her waist. A long, beautiful tail with golden scales instead of legs. His breath caught in his throat. A mermaid, a real one. The woman lifted her hands slightly. "Please help me. They will sell me. They will take my child." Kweku wanted to run, but he felt something inside him. Fear mixed with pity. She looked weak and tired, not dangerous. In a quiet voice, he asked, "Are you a sea spirit?" The woman nodded slowly. "My name is Abena Nkyi. I came to the shore last night to rest. The fishermen caught me. Please help me." Kweku heard sounds of people talking far away. Maybe the fishermen were coming back. He panicked, but he couldn't leave her there. He stepped closer and touched the rope. It was thick and rough. His fingers hurt as he pulled, but he did not stop. His hands shook as he tried to loosen the knot. The voices grew louder. "Hurry," Abena Nkyi whispered, her eyes filled with tears. Kweku pulled hard until the rope loosened and fell. Abena Nkyi gasped softly and grabbed the tree to steady herself. "Thank you," she said weakly. Kweku placed her arm over his shoulder. Her tail was heavy and she could hardly move. They stepped quietly through the bush, trying to make no sound.
They reached Kweku's home behind the old fort area. Ama was still sleeping on the mat. Kweku laid Abena Nkyi on the floor and covered her tail with a big cloth. She groaned as she held her big belly. Kweku whispered, "Please, don't make any sound. My mother will be home soon." Abena Nkyi nodded. Kweku quickly warmed some water and used a clean cloth to wipe the bruises on her arms. She closed her eyes and breathed slowly. "You are kind," she said softly. "Thank you." Ama woke up and rubbed her eyes. When she saw the woman on the floor, she gasped, "Brother, who is that?" Kweku quickly held her hand. "She is not dangerous. Promise you will not shout." Ama nodded, but her eyes stayed wide. Suddenly, there was a knock on the door. Kweku's heart jumped. Maame Efua came in carrying plantains. She looked tired, but she stopped when she saw the cloth on the floor. "Kweku, what are you hiding?" Kweku stood in front of Abena Nkyi. "Nothing, Maame. Just a sick woman. She needs help." Maame Efua looked worried. Where did she come from? Kweku lowered his eyes. "I found her by the rocks." Before Maame Efua could ask more questions, loud voices came from outside. The fishermen had entered the town. They were shouting, "Someone took our catch. Whoever freed her will suffer." Maame Efua's eyes widened. "What catch?" Kweku whispered, "Maame, they caught a sea spirit. They tied her. I freed her. They want to sell her." Maame Efua stared at him in shock. She looked at the woman on the mat, then at the door. "Oh, Kweku, this is trouble." Kweku shook his head. "Mama, she would die if they catch her again." Maame Efua took a big deep breath. "We must take her back to the sea tonight. If they find her here, they will beat us." That night, when the moon shone bright and the waves glowed white, Kweku and his mother carried Abena Nkyi to the shore. She was wrapped tightly so no one would see her tail. Ama walked behind, holding a small lantern. They reached the water quietly. Abena Nkyi touched the sea and her tail glowed brighter. Her strength returned slowly. She turned to Maame Efua. "You are a strong woman. Thank you." Then she looked at Kweku. "You saved my life and my child. I will never forget you." With a soft splash, she slipped into the water. Her tail flicked once, and she disappeared under the waves. Kweku stood there long after she was gone. He wondered if he would ever see her again. 7 days later, before sunrise, Kweku opened the door to sweep the yard. At the doorway, he saw 3 small wooden boxes shining in the morning light. He looked around. No one was there. He carried the boxes inside. Maame Efua opened them with shaking hands. Inside were gold beads, shiny shells, and coins that glowed like fire. Ama gasped, "Brother, it is magic." Maame Efua touched the items gently. This must be from the sea spirit. They sold a few beads quietly and used the money to fix the roof and buy more plantain to sell. Soon, they bought new clothes for Ama and Kweku. They ate good food and smiled more. People in Cape Coast started saying, "Maame Efua is doing well these days," but they did not know why. Every night, Kweku walked to the beach and looked at the waves, hoping to see Abena Nkyi again. He never forgot her words. And he learned something important. When you help someone in need, the good you do comes back to you, like the sea returning to the shore.
Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an exciting new tale. See you in the next one.